Shalom, Maki. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Hashem Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone who teach and rule well, and peace and salutations to the whole full elect, pushing forth this doctrine amongst the four winds. Shalom. It's your brother Parathon. Back at it with another lesson, man. I came across this story on Facebook. You know, it's a lot of Black History Month shit going around. You know what I mean? And it, I personally had never heard of this. Heard of this fella, this brother, Vertus Wellborn Hardyman, who I have here on the screen. It was pretty interesting and sick at the same time. But Esau doesn't surprise us at this point of the lengths that he would go, regarding his wickedness. So you see, what I plan on doing, I'm gonna read this little article. Well, not an article. It's like a little summary as to what went on with this brother. Lord willing, it's edifying. We'll bring out some scriptures. It's not going to be long. So you see, it says here, and this was a post on Facebook. You can just Google his name, and these articles, they'll pop up. The first 4 or 5 resources. It says, Vertus Wellborn Hardyman was the victim of an unethical secret U.S. government radiation experiment in 1928. Hardyman was born on March 9th, 1922, in Laos Station, Indiana, known as one of the earliest Negro settlements in the United States. When Hardyman was 5 years old, he was one of 9 children that took part in a terrifying medical experiment where he and other children were severely irradiated during a medical experiment conducted at the local county hospital. To get parental consent, the experiment was misrepresented as a new therapy for the scalp fungus known as the ringworm. That's, and I had ringworms when I was a kid, so that's besides the point. Continuing, it says the radiation of the skull led to the immediate symptoms, but also to a severe progressive necrosis of the bone all through his life. At the time, many human radiation experiments were conducted on African Americans and were funded by the United States Department of Defense and the United States Atomic Energy Commission. We got there's a movie called Red Tails that came out a few years back, based off the well, you know what, Salaki, I'm thinking of something else. But the Tuskegee experiment is what I was thinking of. That movie Red Tails is a good movie, you can check it out. But anyway, continuing, it says experiments included feeding radioactive food to disabled children, inserting radium rods into school children, and injecting pregnant women and babies with radioactive chemicals. Esau is fucking wicked, man. The studies were classified until 1986, when they were released in the report entitled America Nuclear Guinea Pigs, 3 Decades of Radiation Experiments. The treatment on Hardyman's skull left him with progressive necrosis of the scalp throughout the rest of his life. The disfigurement of his head was so severe that he had always wore hats and wigs to disguise his scalp. Hardyman faced intense criticism from friends who had no idea what he was hiding, and for nearly 80 years, he kept his disfigurement secret from the public. Despite his obstacle, he graduated from Lincoln High School with honors in 1941. In 1945, Hardyman traveled to the West Coast in search for a job. After a year, he gained employment with the Los Angeles County General Hospital, where he was known as a loyal employee and was honored for his perfect attendance record. So this brother was, out here still, still moving, man, living as if nothing happened. It says Hardyman died at the age of 85, which was in 2007, I believe, is when he passed away. It says the life of Vertus Hardyman is the subject of the documentary Hole in the Head, A Life Revealed. Brothers should check that out. And I'm going to check it out too when I get a chance. Lord willing, it says released in 2011, that was written and produced by Wilbur Smith and directed by Brett Leonard. These types of experiments led to distrust of the medical community among African Americans, a distrust that lingers on today. And that's it on that article. But you see, We have a history, you know, of being experimented on. As I brought up earlier, you know, you got the Tuskegee experiment, you know, the Northern Kingdom, way back when, Trail of Tears. They were given the smallpox with the blankets. You know, it was forced to walk across the country. You know, see, this shit this is, you know, nothing new under the sun, man. Esau's fucking wicked, man. You know, wicked is estranged from the womb. Let me get some precepts. Let's see, we gonna jump to Obadiah 1:10. It says, "For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever." Yeah, you see, Esau is gonna be cut off forever, man, for everything he's done against our forefather Jacob. You know, continuing in the next verse, just to further hit the point, you know, because Esau, you know, well, we know that Jacob and Esau were born in the womb. You know, after being born, you know, that perpetual hatred still lingers up until this day. It's a curse. It says, Obadiah 1:11, "In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was as one of them. But thou should have not looked on the day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger. Neither should have thou rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Neither should have thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. Thou should have not entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou should have not looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. Neither should have thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those that did escape. Neither should have thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress." And that's all I'm gonna hit on that. You see, Esau got it coming, man. The Lord set it up as to where his blessing was supposed to be stolen. And he's supposed to be supplanted, you know, of his birthright as well. You see? Through, you know, let me see what else I got. I'm gonna jump to, I had Wisdom of Solomon opened up. I'm gonna hit Wisdom of Solomon. I'm gonna close out. So Wisdom of Solomon 2. I'm gonna jump down to 10. It says, "Let us this is, you know, this is the let's see. This is the ungodly. You know, we know who that is. Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, the red man." We're going to jump down to 10. It says, "Let us oppress the poor righteous man." Who's that? Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. Seminole, West Indians, and Haitians. You're not black. You're not, you know, you're not wetbacks, moist backs. You're not spics, man. True children of the living power. Yahweh Shem Yahushai. It says, let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of his head, of the aged. You know, that's a curse. One of the curses, it says, let our strength be the law of justice. You know, we know that Esau is the earth was given into the hands of the wicked. You know, Esau was given the fatness of the earth. You know, he's in his blessing right now. It says, let our strength be the law of justice. You know, he's well stitched through the government, banks, everything around us, man. There's nowhere that he's not. It says, for that which is feeble It says, Salaki, let me hit that from the top. It says, Wisdom of Solomon 2 and 11. Let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. You see that? That's some prideful shit. You know, because we know that the feeble, which are the poor, the poor and righteous man, is Israel, man. You know, and he counted him to be worth nothing of worth, man. Verse 12, it says, Let us lie and wait for the righteous, because he is not of our turn, and he is clean contrary to our doings. Yeah, because we know that, pursuing the Psalms 147, verse 19 and 20, that Israel, that Jacob, we was given the commandments, for lack of better words. I'm going to just get it real quick for edification. I'm not going to butcher it. Psalms 147. Verse 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob, and his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He has not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. So he has not dealt so with any nation. Esau and the rest of the heathen nations, they're not familiar with the judgments of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. They don't know him. So that's why he's talking all this shit. In this chapter right here, verse 12 again, Wisdom of Solomon, 2nd chapter. Therefore, let us lie and wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn. He is clean contrary. He's against our doings. He upbraideth us with offending our law, and objective to our infamy, the transgressings of our education. Their law, their education. Come on, man. The wisdom of this world is foolishness with Yahweh, for it is written, he taketh the wise in their own craftiness. You see, Esau's tongue is falling upon his own self, for lack of better words. You see? Let's see. He professed of, yeah, that was it on that. You see, this is a beautiful chapter right here. That's another time for another lesson. I just wanted to hit the point. Wanted to bring out that interesting story on the brother Vertus Hardyman. And Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. We'll say Kala Yah B'Shem Yahushai. Double honors the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who teach and rule well, and peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. Keep enduring Akim Shalom Kwam Yasharala.